of open world games and hanging from the ceiling, what did you play this month?
I would not call it an open world, but I did want to hang from the ceiling at moments. I played Doom Eternal. It's a transition, all right. It's a first-person shooter developed by id Software and published by Bethesda Softworks. It is a sequel to Doom 2016 and is the fifth main game in the Doom series. It was released in March 2020 for Windows, PS4, Stadia, and Xbone, and a version for the Switch was released in December of 2020. And then just this past year, in June of 2021, versions for PS5 and Xbox Series X were also released. It's set sometime after the events of the fourth game, Doom 2016. The story follows the Doom guy, once again, on a mission to end Hell's consumption of Earth and foil the alien makers' plans to exterminate humanity. Okay, so I really did like this game, but it has some serious fucking hangups. Okay, positive stuff out the gate. I understand why a lot of people's reception to the additional lore and story elements was kind of mediocre. It's not what people play these games for. That's fine. Whatever. I like it. I appreciated how brief it was for the most part, but it was still really interesting. I liked the lore. I liked the database entries. I liked the fact that more of it was in cutscenes. I know, sue me. I like all the new characters that are introduced. It's not terribly memorable. I'll give it that. I forgot about it after I played it, but I did enjoy it.
I'm kind of shocked by that because I really appreciated how the story was presented in this game. Like, there's a lot of codex that you can dig into if you want even more, but yeah, there was a lot more in cutscenes, and it was actually enough for me to be able to summarize what's going on without caring so much. Like, I jumped in just to kill demons, and I found a story, and I was happy.
Yeah, the public reception was weird. I'm with you on that. I did That's like all of weird. That. I don't know, man. But all of the new gameplay elements, including the additional platforming sequences, the general addition of abilities and stuff, I enjoyed all of that. But holy shit, there are a couple of choices which fucking kill me, and they ruin almost all of my enjoyment very quickly. First of all, the boss battles are dog shit. Just flat out, they're worse than Doom 2016 by a long shot. That game had good bosses. Some of them were underpowered, some of them were overpowered, but they were all good, you know? The bosses in this game have, like, the first one is like a quick time event. The fuck? And then the rest of them are more bullet spongy than anything else. They're not like, I mean, it's Doom, so they're kind of all bullet spongy, but not in a very, I don't know. It was painful. It was painful. I would be draining every last drop of ammunition on every boss. So then I'd die 5 times over, and then it'd give me the OP suit, and then I dominate. And like, if you have to give a built-in element for when people keep fucking up, you designed your game like shit, frankly.
See, I want to argue with you, but I'll go for it now. I sucked at it. I, too, had to get the OP suit, but after playing and realizing that they wanted to encourage you to use all of the elements in the game and use the chainsaw to get more ammo because you run out of ammo so quickly, so often, that's part of the game loop.
See, in the first game, I agree with you. The game loop is fucking perfect. Between needing to kill enemies and get glory kills and get chainsaw kills, perfect, absolutely perfect on all difficulties. But in this game, the ammo counter is so astronomically low for every single fucking weapon. And there's no chainsaw ammo anywhere. So even if you do have chainsaw ammo, then you have to be chainsaw killing like every single fucking enemy on easy. Then why the hell do you even have other weapons if you're pretty much exclusively going to be using the stupid glory punch or whatever the hell it's called, the sword and the chainsaw? Then don't have other weapons because you can never use them and it's pointless. So the first third of the game is a grind fest because the weapons don't have ammo and you can't upgrade them yet. And you can't get to the good weapons and there's no, I had to lower the difficulty, not because I was like getting killed, but because I would run out of ammo And then because melee does no damage, literally no damage, I can't kill anything. So I'd have to just start over again. It's absurd.
I badly want to be you and just be that asswipe that makes you sound like a butthurt nerd.
Say it. Fucking say it.
Because I completely agree. I was in the same boat for so long, but then I replayed. And it's by design. They wanted it to be like that so that you're using all of the tools at your disposal and balancing it out. They want you using the flame belch as soon as it becomes available to get max armor all the time. They want you using the blood punch so that you have max health as soon as it's available. They want you using the chainsaw as much as you can to get ammo. They didn't want you to just walk in with a full magazine of every weapon and just wipe the boss. They wanted it to be balanced among all of the tools. So I don't know if you remember a year ago or 2 years ago when I was texting you these same things, but I eventually figured it out and have been playing on a harder difficulty because it's just how they designed this game.
I think that's a stupid design. If your game has 80% of your weapon sandbox is useless and it forces you, but not by choice, it doesn't encourage you. It literally forces you to use certain things almost exclusively.
Yep.
Then it's wasted development time, resources, and it takes away fun because it says, hey, look at this cool gun. You can't use it because there's no ammo and you can't find anything. And it doesn't make it satisfying when you do get ammo. It's not like the BFG in the first 2 games where you get like 3 rounds of ammunition and that's it. But when it does hit, it literally nukes everything in the room. It's not like that where, I can finally use the like machine gun, the most basic weapon in this game, next to the combat shotgun. There's no ammo for anything. It's literally you get a chainsaw kill, a high level, like a 3-tier chainsaw kill. You get enough ammo to kill 2 enemies tops. And now I have to scrounge the map for more chainsaw ammo. It's absurd. And it's not because I am that bad at aiming, for fuck's sake. Everything's a bullet sponge. And they tweaked the numbers in the wrong direction. They made everything more bullet spongy and they took away damage from the weapons. And then they cut the ammo counters like in half. The shotgun holds like 12 shells.
Yep.
It has a mode which is automatic fire. Those 2 things cannot coexist and function. It's absurd. And the whole game is plagued with this because this game is bigger than Doom 2016, which I liked. It has platforming. The world is bigger. There's way more going on. It's way more visually interesting. But you can't do anything. And I can't appreciate any of the architecture, the level design, if I'm too busy going, fuck, I need to find stupid chainsaw ammo so I can like kill a zombie, like the most basic enemy type. I can't even kill with a punch or 10 of them.
That's what I was going to say too. That led to me figuring it out was they would put you in an arena and I would kill off the easy ones, the imps and the super soldiers in an attempt to work my way up to the Minotaur and the Cyber Demon and whatever, and the imps and super soldiers kept respawning endlessly. So the intention is that you chainsaw and only use, 1 of 3 chainsaw ammos on the little guys to get all the ammo that you need to kill the big guys. You start at the top and work your way down. And the easy kills are what you chainsaw for a lot of ammo instead of getting the glorious kill with 3 chainsaw ammos.
I think that's fine in base premise if it was a different game series. But this literally argues within the game, it argues with their own design of we want to add more freedom. We want the world to be bigger. You have more things at your disposal, but we force you to play in one specific play style because it's the only valid one. That's not good. And that just really, really tanks the enjoyment because everything else is phenomenal.
I can agree with that too, because there are certain enemies that you have to headshot or you have to use a certain weapon's upgrade to kill. So it's tough you can't use that weapon's base damage because you're saving the ammo for headshot ammo or the microwave beam or whatever else. So that is a fair point.
It's just really frustrating. And more than anything else, it's disappointing. Like, I don't know. Aside from that, moving on from my big bone to pick, the rest of it is really good. I like the length. It's 10-ish hours longer than the first game, I think. I ended up playing on, it's the second easiest difficulty. I had to bump it down because I was having so many fucking problems with basically just having to kill myself all the time. And it was...
digitally, not physically.
Well, I strongly considered hanging from my ceiling while I played this game. It was more...
Your ceiling wouldn't support you.
Ooh, true. It just, I don't know. Everything else was good. The music was excellent, just like the first game. It had some good remixes in it. The sound design is excellent. The designs are a bit more cartoony and a little bit tidier and less like high res than the last game. I don't like that. That's not a win for me. I think it's because they wanted to fit so many more of them on screen, and I don't really appreciate that, but it is what it is.
To be fair, though, the original Doom 2 did that in relation to Doom 1.
It did, and that's another reason why I don't like Doom 2 as much as Doom 1.
Fair, but it was keeping itself in the series.
I guess. I don't know. That everything else was so much more fun, and that just really took away from my enjoyment. Aside from that, the only other real gripe I have is I don't like the HUD at all. In the UI is atrocious. The first game was good. It was fine. The TAC map was good. The main menu was functional. Nothing exciting, but it worked. But the almost neon fluorescent green that they chose for this game gave me a migraine in like 5 minutes of looking at it. And I don't get headaches from stuff. I always have headaches. That's my problem. But I don't have light sensitivity problems, color sensitivity, like nothing like that. But looking at this game's HUD for like 2 to 5 minutes, like I'm trying to look at the map, I'm trying to read the database. It's so high contrast against everything else. And there's no other options. It's so clunky. It takes up the whole damn screen. And the same thing on the main menu. It breeds from the design choice that they wanted this game to be more like arcadey. And I don't disagree with that in premise. I'm fine with it. But when it basically just means your UI is shitty, I don't like that. The game doesn't feel more arcadey. The user interface does. And that's not great because then the main menu is you're posing in the middle of it. And then there's a bunch of misaligned options on both sides of the player. It just looks like crap. It's annoying to navigate. It's sluggish. And it's just, it's really multiplayer focused for its alternative multiplayer mode, which I think is Horde mode, whatever the hell they call it. I played a couple rounds of that. It's fun. It's better than the first game. I always say the first game. It's better than 2016's multiplayer. It's a unique concept. You play as either the Doomslayer or one of like 4 demons, and you battle it out. I like that. It was fun. It's not my cup of tea, but it was something better, clearly. But they sacrificed the snap map feature, which was stupid. And there are 2 DLCs, which I did not play, so I cannot comment on those. I don't like the fact that this game has DLC, if I'm being honest. It feels like that's a little cheap. I don't know how large those expansions are. I didn't hear anything like, we're not talking, oh, it's like Blood and Wine. It's huge. Like I didn't hear anything like that. So even if it's another 5-10 hours, like it's fine, I guess. it felt like this game was almost incomplete, even though it was bigger than the last game. Something I tried to hammer on a lot with 2016 was it felt very complete. It felt like it was a nice thematic experience, even in multiplayer aside, basically. The rest of it felt very well connected and cohesive. It was really well polished. This game feels more pushed out the door and a little janky. And the fact that it has a cliffhanger and then 2 sequel DLCs is not great. Not a fan.
So I've played most of the DLCs. I've got 1 or 2 levels left. There's 2 of them. You can probably get both of them together for $20. That's just a random ass guess.
I think it is 20 though for both of them.
Together.
Yeah.
I would say it's about 3 to 4 hours for a straight playthrough of both. So 3 to 4 for the first one, 3 to 4 for the second one. So 8 hours for $20 isn't terrible. I don't exactly remember what the cliffhanger is in the base game, but I'm willing to say that the DLCs go in a direction that you wouldn't expect. Please remind me how the base game ends.
I played this like 3 weeks ago. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
but you said it ends on a cliffhanger.
It was a cliffhanger, but I didn't like care.
Cock and bull.
Like it's
All
not
right.
like,
So
oh my gosh, no. Like the first game ended on an excellent cliffhanger, which was sequel bait, but
right.
also it's not because this game has like nothing to do with the end of the last game.
Right.
That was a really good cliffhanger.
That was the thing that killed me. It was like I was here for the resolution to that cliffhanger and nothing happened.
Yeah, which I'm definitely fine with. I like how that ended up being isolated, but I don't remember. It was just like, oh, it's over. Like
the 2 DLCs pertain to throwing the demon sword into the mix of the gameplay loop, and it's basically Doom Guy becoming God. He's like Hollow Knight-esque ascends from being a bug to being God. And it's going to be something like he rules hell or something, but I haven't made it that far. He's like, it just amps up how many demons you're encountering. There's a couple extra challenges. There's like ascendant demons or something. I don't know. It's been a while, but it's like it throws a couple of new ideas in the mix. It makes it extremely difficult, even on the easiest difficulty. So you have to be really good at the gameplay loop to even beat it. And it doesn't go... It has nothing to do with the base game as far as I'm concerned.
then why didn't they just make a sequel? Because it looks like we're not getting another sequel. So like, what? I
don't think so. But I was happy with the DLC. I think it's a decent price for what it is. I would say $20 for the 2 together is legit. If you can get it at 10 or 15, freaking do it. I encourage you. Even though what you're saying implies that you didn't really like Doom Eternal, I still think you would enjoy what the story does in the DLC.
It sounds like it is something I would enjoy. It just
on sale.
Yeah, I'm really burnt out on this game. It's not like it took that long to complete, but with how much frustration and how much delaying, it took me multiple hours to complete each level. Mm-hmm. Not because I was being a completionist, I was, but aside from that point, like just because I had to keep replaying over and over and over. Every arena took me like 10 tries. That's really discouraging to make me want to pay you more money to sit through another like 5 hours of it.
I would encourage you to do some research and play it again, because it was yet another one of those games where spending more time with it, I finally got it. I spent so much time with their stupid freaking Halo series that I finally get the gameplay loop. I think it's the same thing with Doom Eternal. I think you just need to have Stockholm syndrome and to finally understand it.
I just want to go play 2016 again. That's why it's frustrating. Is it's not because it's like bad. It's not bad. The rest of the game is phenomenal. It's just
Right.
a couple of mostly numbers-based choices. You could change that code in a couple of weeks. Like you'd need lots of play testing, of course, but like you could change these things pretty easily in terms of game development. It's not like this is some deeply embedded choice. You know, we're not talking about, I don't even know. It takes away enjoyment. It doesn't keep it from happening. It makes me go, oh, that was really sick. And then I run out of ammo and I go, oh shit. So if all these really nice, cool kills I got, these excellent moves I made, those didn't actually happen because I had to restart my checkpoint again. Like that just kills me.
Doom 2016 made you a badass, and Doom Eternal
makes me suicidal.
Really work to be a killing machine, and it's a different feeling. It's very jarring going from one to the other, but I think once you understand how to play Doom Eternal, you can become a badass again.
Wow, you're talking to me like I'm some washed up has-been. Damn boy. That's all I really got. I bought this when it came out for the $60. And then I immediately brought it back to the store because I realized I needed that money. So I didn't end up playing it. I bought it 2 years ago on Black Friday online through GameStop. So it was... Yes, it was 2 years ago. So this would have been 6 to 8 months after release. I think it was around $20 to $30. I'm glad I bought it. I'm glad I played it. I just grinding out the rest of the achievements for this fucker is gonna be nasty, dude.
That's when I realized how to play it. I think that's when it'll finally hit you.
I'm impatient. I want it now.
I cannot believe you went the whole review without mentioning it's after my bedtime, I'll say it, the clusterfuck of the soundtrack release for this game.
It's not really relevant to the game release.
But you are such a soundtrack nerd.
It's really frustrating that I can't just buy this because the way that Mick Gordon communicated with the studio and the developers that actually integrated his music into the game were not communicating well, and he was missing deadlines and being an asshole about it. And then they were getting butthurt, so they started making their own music and then remaster, or mastering his. Like he'd send over the raw music, and then they would master it and then integrate it. It was weird. So they had a bunch of legal falling out. They both came across like assholes. I feel very bad for the sound design and music design guys who had to integrate this and are now kind of getting thrown under the bus for it, because I'm sure they did the best that they could. It's the overall the conclusion of that is in game. The music is very compressed by comparison to the previous game, even though it's more interesting and lively, like instrumentation wise. It just, the actual sound is compressed, but I'm not that much of a music nerd that I don't really notice too much, but it ended up resulting in a legal problem because Mick Gordon wouldn't let them release the music because he technically didn't finish it, and they wouldn't let him go back and finish it to release a soundtrack version, which is lame. And this was we just found out all of this 6 months ago. It was a very slow trickle of information on why the fuck we couldn't buy the soundtrack.
That clarifies things for me, because I thought the way it was that the released soundtrack was FUBAR, but the in-game soundtrack was okay. So
I don't know, man.
That broke my brain, but
I have no idea.
The fact that it's compressed to a point that I can't hear it in-game because you have shotguns and chainsaws going off makes more sense.
I honestly don't care anymore. I cared when it came out, and I was very pissed off about it because the first game on disc is phenomenal. I'm just so... Because it was like headline after headline of
Right.
Mick Gordon said this, Bethesda said this, and I was just like, guys,
It
stop.
was
Shut
one
up.
of the first times that the public crucified Bethesda and then apologized for it and said, "Oh, it's not entirely your fault. We're sorry." that will stay with me forever. I was gonna say too that you bought me the Doom 2016 soundtrack on disc for a Christmas present, I think. So that's why I was so surprised you didn't talk about this scandal in your review.
I'm just tired, dude. I'm just fucking tired. Just seeing the words Doom Eternal on a screen on the internet is tiring now. I just either make a third game or don't. I don't know, man. It's so weird because, again, it's not like this tanked the franchise. It didn't tank my enjoyment of it. It took away so much of the enjoyment that it had provided me. It said, it put the carrot in my mouth and then it ripped it out. Like, it wasn't putting a carrot on a stick in front of me and then never gave it to me. Like, I was eating the carrot and then it made me throw it up.
So compare 2016 and 2018 to the originals, Doom 1 and 2. What is the feeling as Doom guy in those two games? Are you a slaughtering badass that never dies? Are you hurting for ammo or armor? Like, what's the feeling of playing those games side by side?
Playing the original Doom and Doom 2 is almost identical, like on all fronts. They're different maps and different character skins, but almost everything else is the same, like almost notoriously so. On all difficulties, never really hurting for ammo too much in those games. You'd have to look, like you wouldn't run out of ammo across the board. You run out of ammo on a couple of guns, not every single thing in your arsenal is empty. And also you can't melee anything. Like, melee in those first two games had no damage. It didn't do anything unless you had a power up, but you never had to use it because you always had pistol ammo, if nothing else. Like, there was so much pistol and minigun ammo. You would use everything else. You use the shotgun, you use the BFG, you use the plasma rifle, whatever. And then you could always fall back on that pistol and it would take forever, but you could still kill a couple of imps and get to the next room where there was ammo. I never had that problem. Same thing in 2016. They completely changed how the ammo system worked, and I loved it. It makes for very offensive gameplay. Big fan. But it was still given out generously enough that you would run out on like a gun. You have to go, oh, I have to stop using the plasma rifle? No. Well, now I can just use the heavy assault rifle. Like, okay. It's fun. It changes your gameplay style entirely, but it doesn't shove you in one direction. It cuts off. Instead, it's like a 20-sided die. It makes a couple of those sides like unavailable, not a 6-sided die and 3 of them are unavailable right now. I don't know.
So my only complaint about this game, once my self-proclaimed enlightenment, was that the level design felt samey. You run into an arena, you kill all the things, you find a couple of collectibles in the hallways on your way to the next arena.
I didn't really notice. I thought it was fine.
Do you plan on trophy hunting? Or achievement hunting because you're Xbox?
When I get bored.
Did you unlock the Unmaker?
I don't remember.
Did you do all the Gore Nest things? All 6 of them or something?
I think.
And got the alternative BFG?
I think.
Interesting answer.
Dude, I don't. The game just is so much, but it's so like, oh, cool, new gun. I can't use it after 5 minutes, so I don't give a shit.
It's on the weapon wheel. you can delete all this stuff if you want. But on the weapon wheel, you select the BFG and hit, for you, it would be Y, and change the BFG to the unmaker.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So you did get that?
Yeah.
Nice. I had to do a lot of leveling to to get that. I don't think I've even used it. I was like, no, I like my BFG. But apparently the unmaker's OP, so.
Big gun go burr.